Sarah and Rachel sit on a park bench, watching the sunset. Rachel looks frustrated, staring at her phone.
I just don't understand, Sarah. I've been praying and waiting, but nothing is changing. I'm still stuck in this job I don't like, still single, still waiting. I get it, Rachel. Waiting is hard. But have you ever thought that maybe God is using this season to prepare you for what's next? But how long do I have to wait? I see other people moving forward, getting promotions, getting married, and I feel like I'm just standing still. You know, in the Bible, Joseph had dreams about his future, but he was sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison before he ever saw them come true. If he had rushed ahead of God's plan, he wouldn't have been ready for the responsibility of ruling Egypt. So you're saying God is making me wait because I'm not ready. Not necessarily that you're not ready, but that his plan is bigger than what you see. Isaiah 55, 8-9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord." Sometimes, he's working things out in ways we can't understand. But what if I miss my chance? What if I wait too long? That's impossible. If God has something for you, no one else can take it. Look at Abraham and Sarah. God promised him a son, but they tried to rush the promise by having Ishmael. That only brought trouble. But when they waited, Isaac, the child of the promise, was born at the perfect time. So you're saying I should just trust God? Exactly. Trust that his timing is perfect. Proverbs 3, 5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." That means even when it feels like nothing is happening, he is still working. I guess I need to work on that. It's just hard. It is. But God is faithful. Just keep praying, keep trusting, and when the time is right, he'll make everything fall into place. Okay, I'll wait, this time, with faith.
Lily and Naomi are walking home from Bible study. Lily looks worried.
Naomi, I don't know what to do. I feel like everything in my life is uncertain. What if I fail? What if things don't work out?
Sounds like fear is talking louder than faith.
But what if my fears come true?
What if they don't? God hasn't given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Fear focuses on the problem. Faith focuses on God's power.
I want to have faith, but it's hard.
That's why we walk by faith and not by sight. 2 Corinthians 5:7. Trust that God has a plan for you, even if you can't see it yet.
You're right. I need to start trusting him more than my worries.
Exactly. Faith over fear, always.
John and Caleb are sitting in a coffee shop.
John, I've been struggling. I pray, but it feels like God isn't listening.
Have you ever considered that prayer isn't just about getting answers, but about drawing closer to God?
But I need answers.
And God will give them in his time. But prayer is more than asking, it's about relationship. Jesus often went away to pray, not just for miracles, but to be with the Father.
So even if I don't see results, I should keep praying.
Exactly. Pray without ceasing. 1 Thessalonians 5:17. God hears every prayer, even when it feels like he's silent.
That's encouraging. I'll keep praying, even when I don't see immediate results.
That's faith. Keep seeking him.
A year later, Rachel and Sarah are sitting in the same park, watching the sunset. This time, Rachel looks peaceful, with a soft smile on her face.
You look different, Rachel. At peace. I feel different. Remember our conversation here last year? I was so frustrated with waiting. I remember. What changed? I did. I finally surrendered everything to God, my job, my future, even my desire for marriage. I stopped comparing my journey to others and just focused on trusting him. And you were right. His timing really is perfect. What happened? Well, for starters, my job. I used to hate it, but instead of complaining, I started seeing it as a place where God had placed me for a reason. I worked hard, kept praying, and then, out of nowhere, I got a promotion to a position I actually love. That's amazing. And my relationship status? Well, when I stopped obsessing over when I'd meet the right person, I focused on growing in my faith. And guess what? I met someone at church. It wasn't forced. It wasn't rushed. It just happened. And we're taking things slow, trusting God every step of the way. Wow. So everything fell into place. Exactly. But not because I made it happen, because I let God handle it. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was preparation. That's so beautiful, Rachel. I knew God was working behind the scenes. He always is. And now I truly understand Isaiah 40:31, but those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary, they shall walk and not faint. Amen to that.
Few months later, Lily and Naomi are sitting in a cafe, sipping their tea. Lily looks radiant, her eyes filled with excitement instead of worry.
You look different, Lily. The last time we talked, you were so anxious about the future.
I was. Fear had such a grip on me. But something changed.
Tell me, what happened?
Remember how I kept saying, what if I fail? Well, one day, I felt God whisper, what if you don't? That hit me. I realized I had been putting more faith in my fears than in God.
That's powerful. So, what did you do?
I decided to trust Him, really trust Him. Instead of letting fear hold me back, I stepped out in faith. I applied for that job I thought I wasn't good enough for. I started serving in church, even though I was afraid of speaking in front of people. And you know what? Every time I took a step, God met me there.
Wow, so what happened with the job?
I got it. And it turns out, I was more capable than I thought. I've been learning so much and growing in ways I never expected. And serving at church, it's completely changed my confidence. I even led a Bible study last week.
That's amazing, Lily.
I finally understand that faith isn't the absence of fear, it's choosing to trust God despite the fear. 2 Timothy 1:7 isn't just a verse to me anymore, it's my testimony. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
I love that. So no more what ifs.
Oh, they still come. But now, instead of asking, what if I fail? I ask, what if God does something greater than I ever imagined?
You look different, Caleb. Last time we talked, you were struggling with prayer.
I remember. I was so frustrated, feeling like God wasn't listening. But something changed.
What happened?
I kept praying. Even when I didn't feel anything. Even when I didn't see any answers. I decided to trust that God was hearing me, even in the silence.
That's faith. So did God answer?
Yes, but not in the way I expected. At first, nothing seemed to change. But I started noticing something, I was changing. Instead of just asking for things, I started seeking God's presence. Instead of rushing through prayers, I started listening. And over time, my relationship with Him deepened.
That's amazing. So it wasn't just about getting answers.
Exactly. Prayer isn't just about asking, it's about being with God. And as I grew closer to Him, I started seeing answers. Some were small, some were big, but the biggest change was in my heart. I don't just pray out of obligation anymore, I actually enjoy talking to God.
That reminds me of Jeremiah 29:12, then you will call on me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. God always listens, even when we don't feel it.
And He always answers, even if it's not the way we expect. Some prayers took time. Some were answered in ways I didn't see coming. But now, I know for sure, God is always working.
That's a powerful testimony, Caleb.
And the best part, I don't pray just to get answers anymore, I pray because I love spending time with Him.
Thank you very much for supporting my channel. God bless.